Manchester replay. I went to visit there with the wife, also known as Magically Floating Camera, and my good friend Custardoo, also known as Erwin Bierhof. We met up with Dave Webster and we had a lot of fun. Let's go check out what it was all about. I decided not to bring my PSP because it was already updating yet again. While Erwin was petting a stray, grumpy, wild cat waiting for the bus to arrive, Elise and I already had arrived at Schiphold airport, ready for takeoff. Having not taken my PSP, I could not resist buying a very cheap NES clone, 150 games in one, at the airport. Our hotel in the center of Manchester was surrounded by very picturesque red brick buildings, and some of them were getting remodeled. There was quite a bit of gentrification going on in the inner city, which is quite good. The complimentary Wi-Fi was simply amazing! Not! So we opted for the faster option. We ended up having dinner at Nando's. And Erwin, he doesn't like his tomatoes, his cherry tomatoes, but he does a wonderful trick with tomatoes in his eyes, making him look like a demon, almost. Quite scary. Okay, so with the meal almost over, we decided that it was time to head on over to the Trafford Centre. The setting sun produced a gorgeous sight over the Trafford Centre, and inside we went to the Namco arcade, supposedly to find some YouTubers that were playing games. Well, luckily we found the Star Wars Arcade Battle Pod. Great machine, guzzled a lot of our pounds, but still no YouTubers in sight. The official start of day one with an official English breakfast, and I dared Erwin to walk up the escalators on the wrong side, which was quite fun. And he almost fell, or actually he did. So, moving inside the tremendously posh Trafford Centre. It has a very nice atmosphere. It does replicate some of the New Orleans Beale Street type, which is it now. Erwin and I, we noticed that we were being recorded, so and these kids, they looked back and they thought, what an assholes. Well, okay, so now we move to the big ship, Titanic ship-like configuration of the Trafford Centre. We were supposed to meet up Dave Webster at Costas, so yeah, it's just a crazy place with skies painted on the ceiling, and especially at night you really get a sense of actually being on a huge cruise ship, which is actually quite cool. Look at that. There's even stars in the sky. And a big deck area. So there's marble stairs leading down to the Costa area. Coffee at Costa's to skip the queue, and boom! There was Benjamin Hunter. Later he was joined by his good friend from university, and we were talking, and we were admiring the view, and Elise was admiring us because she took this picture, and then we decided to head on up over to replay, because I think it was about 10:30 now. So we were hoping that most of the queues would have disappeared, and we would be able to just walk into the event city, just show our tickets, get our wristbands, and just walk in, easy peasy. Now we were hoping to meet up quite a few YouTubers, but things were starting out good. I mean, Namco was a disaster last night, but Benjamin and his good friend, things were looking good. Haha, it worked. We reached Event City without any queues. I just had to expose my inner cow. Okay, so we decided to disperse just to get used to the hustle and bustle of the event, because there's a lot of noise coming your way. and you really have to get used to it first. So we're making rounds, and Elise, she was checking out some of the cosplay. We actually decided to head on over to the arcade, which was nicely tucked away in a corner, actually behind this huge long table filled with arcade games, while Elise was checking out the merchandise. Great stuff. I love these big head statues, and well, Dave, me, and Erwin, we were making our plans, and we decided to play some games. And here I'm actually whooping Dave's ass. He actually lost. Okay, as you can see, I'm quite tall, so I have to slouch over a bit to be able to play some of the arcade games, which is a bit of an inconvenience. And here I'm playing one of my favorites, and that's Time Pilot, next to Gyrus, my favorite arcade games, I guess. And here Erwin is trying to shoot Duck Hunt. I can't for the life of me remember which game this is that I'm playing now. Now, I believe the Retro Computer Museum provided quite a few of the systems that we got to play on, and here I'm browsing the Retro Computer Museum's stall, and they were selling computer tapes for 50 cents, 50p a tape, which was a great bargain, and my friend Mike Me was actually helping them out.
Games that were never released.
Now, Games That Weren't is also another great site. They actually focus on games that were never released and try to get them released, so you can actually play new games on the old systems. Now, a replay event is not an event if you haven't checked out the stall from Llamasoft. Jeff and his partner, they are always present showing us the games, and I'm hoping that TXK will still get a release on the PlayStation 4. I believe they're working with Atari, or talking with Atari, to see if it will ever get a release. I'm hoping for that. So it was getting time for lunch, and we decided to go to Frank and Benny's just to avoid the replay food, but that took longer than anticipated. And back from lunch, we actually met Darren Walshock, Mr. Stella Box Head, and yeah, our first YouTuber, apart from Ben and his friend, that we actually encountered at Replay. We figured we were the only ones there, actually. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the cosplayers were actually doing their cosplay thing. And yeah, we figured there must be more YouTubers, but yeah, where to find them? Well, the board game players were actually doing their board games, but I didn't find any YouTubers over there. And the vendors were actually doing their vending thing, and still, no YouTubers. Where are they? Now, with lunch under our belts, it's time to get peckish again, and perhaps try to consume one of these wonderful cupcakes. Provided you're not lactose intolerant like me. No, there's no denying it whatsoever. I actually am the better Virtua Fighter player of the two of us, Dave Webster and me. Well, at least in this game. In this particular game, I'm not sure who actually is the best one. So, one of my favorite arcade games, Time Pilot. Actually, it's running on the same hardware as the Gyrus game, and these two, the Time Pilot cabinet and the Gyrus cabinet, got quite a bit of gameplay from me. And here Dave Webster is actually playing Speed Buggy, also known as Buggy Boy. Played this a lot on Commodore 64, great game. decided to have a go at it myself. Played this a lot on the Commodore 64, not so much on the arcade, and I just wanted to see how it went. Now, the Commodore 64 version is actually quite a good port because it really feels very similar to this game, and yeah, I was actually able to it felt the same, so that's actually a sign that the Commodore 64 version is actually quite a good port. The Atari and the Amiga versions are supposed to be very good as well, but this is just very smooth. A sit-down cabinet with 3 screens also exists, and that's supposed to be even better, but yeah, it's a great game. Whoa! Great stuff.
That's a lovely game as well.
And of course Erwin has to try as well, and he's actually quite good at it. Quite advanced actually. Look at that speed and those reflexes. And here Erwin is actually demonstrating a rather silly duck hunt option in the 10-play NES Nintendo type arcade game. So yeah. And here you can see me playing Gyrus, one of my favorite arcade shoot-'em-ups. Love the music, love the attack patterns, just an amazing game. So Elise, the magical floating camera, is filming me playing this wonderful, amazing game. We decided some introductory footage would be a good idea.
Hi there, this is Lactobacillus Prime reporting from Replay in Manchester 2015.
And over at the Retro Museum stall, Computer Museum stall, I'm actually talking to Mike and his girlfriend Eleanor.
Rummage is an older word. Rummage. You don't understand, it's not blank, you go,
And finally, things were looking up. We actually encountered some YouTubers like Peter and Dave, Infected Flinch, and Stefan. Dave actually got this huge, great, wonderful Commodore 64 package, special edition. And of course we had to hug, and Stefan had to hold the box. And then Stefan had to hold the box some more. And this is our group photo. Dave's new computer also needed new games, so we took him back to the Retro Computer Museum stall and searched among the 50 pence tapes, and there were some gems in there like Uridium, Anarchy, and quite a few others.
Say that again, Dave.
It's so really weird.
And of course I had to try it myself, and actually Dave had to turn me around 90 degrees because I was just, as a bystander, just watching all the scenery go by like I was standing in a train.
Look that way.
Oh, there, yeah. I got this game actually.
That's definitely handsome. You wanna be filming?
Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
And then the day drew to a close and we went out to the Trafford Centre with Andy, Ben, Dave, me, Erwin and the wife for some great Japanese food.
Did he manage to escape to the...
Because he was important, probably was the reason why he was allowed to go out like that.
I was being very close to you. That's quite dangerous. I could have,
Look at the lines in the morning, you don't expect to see a 10-foot roll of flame.
that could actually explode it.
Well, it's
If the gas tank exploded.
it's quite loud.
And after dinner, a trip to the Namco arcade Funscape. Time for some Mario Kart. God, I love this game. Freaky avatars galore.
Dry, isn't it?
Yep, it's still great fun.
And after the fun and games of the Namco arcade, we didn't see any other YouTubers actually. Dave was kind enough to drive us home back to Manchester City Centre, and where we just went to bed quite early in order to prepare for yet another day of retro gaming.
De bronzen dames zijn behoorlijk betepeld, valt me op.
So as we made our way to the final parts of the traffic center, something happened. Sunday came. Time for day 2. While Dave and Erwin went for some crispy, creamy donuts, I arrived at Replay early so I could invest in some gameplay on the Gyrus arcade. Meanwhile, Elise took a beautiful trip to Edale. So, I spent most of my time playing the arcades and also the console systems, checked out the PC system, but I couldn't find Erwin or Dave anywhere. And eventually I needed to get home because all the British breakfast didn't agree with me. But later on I recovered enough to go out for some food and drinks again.
Oh, I love the micro etching in the bottom of the glass.
Also made the scientific discovery that Diet Coke actually floats on top Sprite. Monday came and it was time for us to travel home again, so we went to Manchester Airport. Eventless train trip, and we arrived at Manchester Airport and we enjoyed some of the vista. Security was a breeze, and then at the gate we saw something a little disturbing. So the weary traveller has to look at the fire service training area, where actual planes are set on fire to have a drill. Quite a soothing sight for the traveller with latent flight anxiety. Despite all that, managed to board the plane without kicking or screaming, and actually managed to enjoy the view as well. Before you knew it, we hit Dutch shore and we prepared for our descent. And now our actual descent real time. And we're back at Schiphold Airport.